I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with Australia's second most painful stinging tree. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So why in the world would I want to be intentionally stung by this plant species? Well, we want to figure out a couple of things. Number one, how susceptible am I to plant venoms? Number two, is the sting really as bad as I've read about? And number three, if you do run into this plant in the wild, what are some ways that you can help alleviate the pain and remove the nettles from your arm? That's what they call in the industry the devil's toilet paper. All right, should we keep hiking and find one that's a little bit bigger?
Oh, this whole hillside, look.
Holy cow, the hillside is literally filled with these. That is all giant stinging trees right there. A lot easier to find stinging plants than it is the stinging insects. Looks like we've got our pick of the crop out here. Now it's just a matter of finding the right leaf that's gonna put this forearm into a world of pain. This tree behind me right here would not be considered a giant. It's just a baby. But believe it or not, this species can grow to be nearly 100 feet in height. Now, as they get bigger, the spines on their main stem, their trunk, so to speak, begin to evolve away, and all of the irritating nettles are just on the stalks and the leaves themselves. As you can see, these leaves have holes in them from caterpillars. You think that this defense would have evolved to take care of things like insects that are going to eat the leaves, but really this toxin only affects mammals. Okay, so this is the leaf I'm going to go for right here. And plant, thank you for letting us use one of your leaves. I'm going to be very gentle about this, almost like a game of operation, to work my arm in here so that I don't accidentally bump any of the other leaves. I'm going to cut this right at the base. Okay. There we go. The Australian giant stinging tree. Looks very unassuming. Now, before we get into the exciting part, the sting of it all, I want to just take a look at this leaf. We're going to show you guys some macro shots of the nettles that are on the undersides. These are known as trichomes, and the trichomes specifically are like little barbs filled with a neurotoxin. Scientists believe that this neurotoxin is very similar to that which you find in the cone snail, one of the most painful stings in the marine animal kingdom. Now, I've never been stung by a cone snail because it's said that if you take a cone snail sting, you will be hospitalized. The way those trichomes work is that if you picture a needle with the tip of it being very sharp, hypodermic in nature, that tip breaks off once those little hairs touch skin, and they release that toxin, causing massive irritation, which triggers your pain receptors. And what's really unique is that scientists don't know why the pain receptors are set off and last as long as they do. Now, those trichomes are located on the top of the leaf, but also on the underside and all along the stem. Okay, I think it's time to get down to business here. What's crazy about this is I'm not going to be able to remove these nettles. They, in a sense, are microscopic, especially once they get into your skin. And like shards of fiberglass, they're going to work their way down and in. The pain will begin to come on within a matter of seconds and will get worse and worse as the minutes go by. Now, we do have a method that I've read about that could possibly remove some of those nettles from my arm. But first things first, we've got to get the nettles into the skin. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the pain zone with the Australian giant stinging tree. Here we go. 1, 2. I don't need to smack my arm. All I need to do is gently graze the leaf over the forearm like this, and I'm gonna be nettled multiple times. Oh boy. 3. Oh my. Holy immediate searing pain. Oh my gosh, that is instantaneous. Okay, it's not a slow lead on. It is the second the leaf touches your skin. It feels like if you were to put Pop Rocks in your mouth and they start exploding, and then they just start hurting right away. Holy cow, that is getting worse as the seconds go by. Okay, so you can start to see all those little welts forming. The arm is beginning to turn red. This is sort of like the jellyfish of the plant kingdom. And those tiny nettles are almost like the nematophores that come off of the jellyfish's tentacles. I want to like rub it or do something to it, but I know if I do that, it's only going to work the nettles in deeper. Now, it's important to note that this is the second most painful stinging plant in Australia. The number one top tier, the one that they call the suicide plant, is called the Gympie gympie. Now, we once ranked the bullet ant as the number one sting in the insect kingdom. From there, it climbed up to the giant hornet and the execution wasp. So supposedly, this sting from this plant is like the comparison of the Japanese giant hornet. Honestly, at this point, I'd say the pain is starting to get into that realm of sticking my hand into a box full of yellow jackets. Now, I've been very public in saying that the hand in the angry yellow jacket box is the most painful experience I've ever gone through. So far, this has not eclipsed that, but if the pain continues to increase, as it is now, I'm in for a very painful next 24 hours. Okay, so when you think about it, I barely grazed that leaf over my forearm. Imagine if you were to be hiking on the side of one of these steep inclinements and you slipped and you fell and you rolled down that hill like Humpty Dumpty, head over heels through these plants, how bad that would be. It feels as if somebody has taken a hot glue gun and spread the glue on my forearm and I can't actually get the glue off of my skin. And it's beginning to radiate and I can feel it coming in these surges of whomp whomp, whomp whomp. Womp womp. Like that's the pacing of the pain. And scientists don't quite know why this neurotoxin reacts to humans, to mammal DNA, the way that it does. All right, so what we're gonna do now is let this set in for a bit longer, and then I'm gonna try one of the remedies that I saw online, using hair wax strips to remove some of those trichomes from the skin. What I wanna do is lay the wax, starting at the back, onto the nettle zone, just like that. Slowly, oh, that does not feel good. Massage that wax in. Now a little bit of heat is what's gonna help that wax adhere to the skin. And at the same time, hopefully those nettles. I wanna remove as many of those from my skin as possible. Now, if you can get yourself to wax strips faster than the 3 hours and 30 minutes that I let go by, it would be better because remember, these are gonna constantly be working themselves down and into the skin. All right, I feel like that's on there pretty good. You guys ready? Here we go. Peel off the strip fast and quickly. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Ow! Whoa! God, that really hurt. And I don't know if that made it any better. Might have made it worse, to be honest with you. I maybe can see some very fine little, yeah, I definitely can. There's no way you're gonna see this on camera, but I 100% can see that it has removed some of the nettles. And I'm wondering, from an angle, this is how I was able to see the nettles earlier. From an angle, don't see any nettles remaining. But to play it safe, I'm gonna use my one other side to this wax strip. All right, work that in there, just like that. Whew. Wax strip number 2 coming off. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yowzers. Oh, well, hopefully I got all the rest of them that time. Oh yeah, they're definitely pulling out. That is fantastic. They just look like these little white fibers. And essentially, that's exactly what nettles are. All right, well, if you happen to find yourself in this worst case scenario where you stumble upon a giant stinging tree and you get those nettles in your arm, that is proof right there that wax strips will help remove those that have not worked themselves down beneath the surface of the skin. And I know what everybody out there is thinking. Coyote, are you going to put yourself into the sting zone with the Gympie gympie? Yeah, we're definitely gonna film that. I honestly don't feel like this was nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I know you guys all wanna see what it's like for a coyote to be stung by the world's most painful plant, and I think that episode is definitely necessary. Okay, there it is. The Gympie gympie leaf. Oh, the water definitely makes it worse. This is terrible at the moment, absolutely terrible. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. All right, I'm gonna get up and shake my arm off a little bit. This is very painful. Oh.